on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today, guys, to unpack actually both of Gwenom and Void Knight's kit now that they have been officially added into the game. But more importantly, guys, I want to talk about the potential here of including these characters for Dark Dimension 6 because of how versatile they both are. They're coming into the game, and obviously they would heavily help out in some sections of Dark Dimension 6 if you have the materials built up. And yeah, it's amazing to see these additions, especially if you're going through Dark Dimension 6. I think it's actually a really good opportunity now to take advantage of them. But yeah, I want to go through that, guys. So first and foremost, we'll take a look at Gwenom's kit and why she can be a very good option for Dark Dimension 6, and then we'll move over to Void Knight. First and foremost, Savage Web, right? This is the debuff basic ability, applying bleeds. She's going to be doing damage. Obviously, in raids is where she can generate ability energy, so she won't be getting that in Dark Dimension, but the basic is still able to flip positives to negatives, applying bleeds, defense down. It's still a very, very good ability. What caught my eye was the fact that this basic also clears barrier, and if you guys know in Dark Dimension, some of these barriers can be absolutely massive when you're going through it. So for that reason, this is almost like a knife that's shredding through the defenses and being able to clear that, adding more damage than you would realize. The special is Tongue Twister here, gaining the opposite of the random negative effect excluding bleed. She also does attack primary and adjacent targets, so in raids she's able to spread this positive effect, but obviously when we're applying that mindset to Dark Dimension 6, she won't have that extra bonus there. But this is the ability control ability here, right? She has the stun on the primary target, and as well being able to gain the opposite of 3 negative effects when she's actually attacking the enemy. And unfortunately, yeah, this one's cool because it actually does generate ability energy as well for herself and Hive Mind. I wouldn't recommend bringing Carnage and Venom in the city section with her just because of the cost of the alien spores. More on that later, but I think her standalone kit being utilized in city in conjunction with the bleeds with Robbie Reyes can be very, very good, especially with the stun here lasting for 2 full turns. That's a more crowd controlling aspects that you can get in Dark Dimension 6. It's a very strong ability, and I believe this one's a cost 4, which means it can reset pretty quickly. We have Symbiotic Fury as her ultimate, and once again, what's so attractive is the clearing of barrier, right? Attacking all enemies, clearing barrier. The offense down is hugely applied. And then in raids, this is where there's a stun, but obviously we don't get that because of the Dark Dimension setting. Leveling this ability up, you also get additional offense down, offense up, defense up, doing a little bit of everything, honestly. And if you have Spider-Verse characters that you utilize in City, such as, the Superior Sinister 6 characters, this is going to be able to help them out as well. And as well, providing a protective barrier and utilizing part of the HP, right? So it's really powerful, guys. This is just such a strong standalone kit. Let's see if there's anything that can benefit from a passive perspective. If there's symbiote allies, obviously there's going to be some on-turn healing, dodge increases, and as well as focus. But what I really like about this passive at the very bottom is when she does drop below that 50% HP threshold, she's going to be applying evasion as well, which means she can self-sustain herself, and that's pretty big, guys. She costs 3 of the mini uniques in terms of the materials to upgrade the gear tier 18, but as well, keep in mind the alien spores is going to be a very coveted resource, especially if you're using some of that to upgrade Super Scroll all the way to gear tier 18. That's why we need to be very careful which Hive Mind and Symbiote characters we bring up, because you may not have that available resource later on. With her costing the same alien spores as both Carnage and Venom, this could be very, very heavy in terms of the materials, right? So you can see here, even right now, I only have 81, and I haven't built up any of these characters to gear tier 16. So it's something you may want to be considering, especially since Super Scroll also shares the alien spores as well. So that's why it's really, really important to take a step back, guys, and understand that. I made a video on analyzing that as well, but just be mindful of who you upgrade, because that could very well have consequences later on for your account. Void Knight, another top recommendation. And what I like about Void Knight is the fact that he's actually a cosmic character. So I know with Dark Dimension 6 and beyond, the cosmic section has always been that area where you can actually have a little bit of wiggle room in terms of character slot ins. We know Val and Kang are obviously locks that need to be utilized. Kestro is a very strong option. But with Kestro moving now to the Mythic section of Dark Dimension 7, we need a character of similar value or importance. And in this case, I think Void Knight can fill that void, actually, pun intended there. But let's take a look at his kit. Cosmic Corruption basic ability. So kind of similar to what we're seeing with Gwenom's kit overall, being able to flip the negatives, right? So he can flip one negative into a positive and then a positive into a negative on the primary target. This would be on the opponent himself. And this actually adds up as you level this ability up. But yeah, it's overall, it's a flipping ability. It can't be counterattacked, and he's just doing additional damage, which never hurts, right? His special ability, Scourge of the Space Waves. So in raids, he's able to steal ability energy, not as much outside of raids. So he's going to be applying defense down with this ability. There's piercing being applied, defense down additionally, and up to 3 ability energies if you're using him in raids. But thankfully, with the level 7 upgrade, he can steal 1 ability energy. And this is almost kind of like a fancy... I always view it as other content creators have also vocalized it. It's almost like a fancy ability block, right? Where when you take away that ability energy, you're giving it to obviously Void Knight here, but you're taking away their opportunity to use that ability as well. So it does stop a character in its tracks if it's timely enough, and you know there's going to be a devastating ability being utilized by the enemy. So for that reason, this is a very good ability, despite the fact that it's not as effective outside of raids. Dark Horizon is his ultimate. Pulling all the enemies within 2 spaces, kind of similar with Magneto's ultimate. And as well, what I like is that he does apply an ability block on the primary target. This applies to all targets in raids. We lose that setting once again, but thankfully we have some other things to go over, which is flipping all the 3 positives on all targets, flipping all positives on Spider-Verse enemies if we're up against them, and the ability block actually lasting for 2 full turns if you bring this ability up. So I think for that reason, adding another character to the team in conjunction with Kang and Val, having additional ability block, dealing more damage, and bringing them together so it makes it even easier for Val to ability block is it's going to be huge. He's going to be a very strong addition. I love the fact that this is a symbiote character that's actually cosmic, so we can actually have a little bit of theory crafting aspect there as well. And lastly, guys, Enter the Void. So for this ability in raids, he's going to be on spawn applying speed up to himself and Hive Mind allies. So obviously not so much, but at the end of any turn, he also does heal himself for 3%. So that's kind of nice. He gains additional max armor and HP passively. In raids, enemies cannot gain immunity, so we lose this effect. When any enemy does take damage from bleeds, he does heal himself and all Hive Mind allies for 10%. So just an added bonus there. On spawn, his speed bar does get increased, even despite the fact that he has a slower speed than Gwenom. We'll go over that in a bit. But as well, leveling this ability, he's also going to be generating ability energy for Hive Mind allies. So he won't be getting this in the cosmic nodes, but he will be getting the additional ability energy for himself, though. So that's kind of nice. At least he can fill that void there and being able to provide him that balance and speed there. But yeah, it's a great kit, guys. Both these characters are very, very standalone, very good characters, even without their full team. His speed is a little bit slower than Gwenom. He currently sits at 113, so not the worst. Obviously not amazing, but he will hold its own when the time comes in terms of the speed. I do like Gwenom here, though, for hers, because she starts off as one of the quicker characters. So you check her out. She's actually at a pretty generous 120, which is great for the city nodes and in conjunction with Robbie Riaz having that synergy. So, guys, some great additions into the game. Again, be mindful of the fact that both these characters cost 3 sets of the mini uniques for battle gear, but as well the fact that they're both utilizing alien spores, and we know Carnage and Venom also use alien spores, and in addition to that, Super Skrull. So you just want to be mindful of how you're investing these characters, because you do want to save up some for obviously the best character in the game, and also providing options later on if you do proceed with using some of these characters for Dark Dimension 6. But for both of them, I do recommend Gwenom and Void Knight. I think they're definitely some of the better options. Newer is always better, and they're going to be adding some additional crowd controlling aspects for Dark Dimension 6, which is the name of the game when you're trying to manage all those waves, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. Some great additions to the game. It's great to see these teams getting at it, and I can't wait to test them out. Thank you as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.